Welcome to an episode of Strategic Conversations. We host insightful discussions with top business leaders. Today, we are hosting Mr. Colin Stevenson, the Chief Procurement Officer of ConocoPhillips. Mr. Stevenson has had a career spanning over 2 decades with ConocoPhillips, both in operational and management roles. He understands oil and gas drilling and operations like the back of his hand. Mr. Stevenson will be a speaker at the Houston Strategy Forum's upcoming Supply Chain Symposium. We are excited to host him, and we look forward to seeing you all there. I am Ravi Kathuria, the president of the Houston Strategy Forum and author of the management and leadership book, How Cohesive is Your Company, and author of the book, Happy Soul, Hungry Mind. Strategic Conversations is hosted by the Houston Strategy Forum. If you value these conversations, please hit like and subscribe to the Houston Strategy Forum's YouTube channel. Today's episode is sponsored by Cohegic, my management consulting and executive coaching firm. Thank you for joining us, and we are looking forward to a great discussion with Mr. Stevenson. Colin, thank you for taking the time to be here, and thank you for accepting our invitation to be part of the Supply Chain Symposium that's coming up.
Great, thank you, Ravi. I really appreciate you having me today, and also looking forward to the symposium. We should have some insightful discussions and conversations with some of our colleagues in and throughout the industry in Houston.
Yes, absolutely. Looking that the symposium that is coming up on February 4th is looking to be a great symposium, a lot of great energy. And thanks to you and the other supply chain leaders in Houston who have agreed to speak and come be part of that discussion. This is going to be one exciting discussion. So Colin, I want to start with your career. You've had a very successful career in operations and management. What prompted you to shift and take on and accept a supply chain role?
Yeah, I'd say, within ConocoPhillips, lots of things have been happening recently. As you started in your introductions and eloquently put, I've got 23 years with ConocoPhillips, and yes, predominantly that's been in the wells function. And therefore that kind of covers drilling, completions, intervention, workover, and well integrity. And I've worked both internationally and domestically here in the US. And so, at the start of 2021, we were going through a significant reorganization. We had just completed the acquisition of Concho to complement our portfolio here in Lower 48, and the opportunity of the CPO came up, and I grabbed it with both arms. I think it's I wouldn't say I'm alien to procurement and the supply chain. Throughout my career, we have worked hand in hand with the function and really delivered value to the organization. So I really understand exactly what supply chain can add to an organization and the value, but also bringing my more operational mindset into it. And if you look at how we spend and where we spend our money, a lot of that is in the wells area for ConocoPhillips. And so again, bringing that expertise coming in and making sure that us within procurement and supply chain are focused on delivering the value back to the organization in the right places, and we're working and making sure we put our right effort into the key areas.
Do you see, so you said the CPO role became available and you grabbed it with both hands. That indicates to me that you must see supply chain as a very strategic function in the organization. I will not name these companies. As we were looking at our upcoming Supply Chain Symposium, we were on the websites of 3 large companies who are in the oil and gas sectors. And we found that among their top leaders, they do not have a chief supply chain officer role. They don't have a chief procurement officer role. Your company, of course, does. Do you see supply chain as a very strategic function to what your organization does and the industry in general?
I think it is, absolutely. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a role that I'd have taken on. I think, yes, we bring that value to the organization by bringing our expertise. I think, can you get by without having such a role and position? Probably. Do you optimize and really deliver the value for the organization? Do you miss opportunities? Do you have that holistic view across a wide international business that we are within ConocoPhillips, and making sure that you leverage off scale and size of your organization? I think you have to have a supply chain organization and someone at the top making sure that we optimize that as best we can.
Very good. Very good. So talk to us about your operations background, your business background. Now that you have taken over and you're managing supply chain, what changes are you bringing? How are you reinventing supply chain? How are you reorienting it so that it serves the corporation's needs much better?
I wouldn't put it down to just me coming into this position. I think we're at a unique place, not only in the oil and gas industry, but as a globe, with coming out of the pandemic. I say coming out of the pandemic, living with the pandemic and the ongoing pandemic situation we find ourselves in is one. I think more and more companies, and especially within us, we're trying to do more with less, and I think that's an important aspect that we've got to look at. And also really, that then pivots us to really think about how we do our work. And so not being that supply chain background all the way through, I'm more looking at how we can do business that fits what the business needs and our managers and leaders within the business units really need, other than a perfect procurement system and looking at it from cradle to grave, really looking at what the needle movers are and really homing in on that. And to me, really pushing, for me, there's 5 key areas that we need to help to move on. Our people. What does supply chain look like in the next 5-6 years as we start to go through? I say we want to do more with less. So we look at what's going to enable that and what skill sets do our people need to come through with that. I want to get out of this procurement cycle of doing bids and awards and really looking at supplier relationships and how we can build that. We can't do anything within supply chain and as an organization without our key contractors. I mean, they deliver the product that we want, and so we have to work with them, hopefully in a relationship manner that we go forward. We think we've got it difficult as an organization coming out of a downturn that we just have with the pandemic. You only have to look at our supply chain and the challenges that are in their business. I think they're right at the forefront. So we have to work with them, understand what their pain points are. But at the same time, the pandemic has opened up opportunities where they have had to look at their internal supply chain and lowered our overall cost of supply for them and for us. So it encourages a little bit of innovation within their organization, within our organization, to really come together to deliver an enhanced product. But, within this industry and the challenges we have and we face going forward, we're different. We've come out of this pandemic. We're not reacting like we have in the past, increasing activity exponentially when prices are as favorable as they are just now. We're being more capitally constrained and focused on returning value to our shareholders, and you start to see that. So forecasting wise, so we need to look at what do we think the future is going to look like and who do we want to play with partner wise, because A&D activity in the contractor world is not finished. We still have an oversupply in certain areas of what we've got, and so we need to make sure we're balanced and we're working with the key suppliers that are going to be with us long term.
Very nice, very nice. I hope people will take the opportunity to come be with us at the Supply Chain Symposium. We'll look forward to seeing you all there. And thank you, Mr. Stevenson, for taking the time today. We appreciate your time, your insights, and looking forward to hosting you at the Supply Chain Symposium. And we hope you enjoyed our conversation today and hope to see you all at the Supply Chain Symposium. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Ravi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.